Hey everyone, welcome to the Dre Archives. In Marvel Rivals Season 0, I've managed to one-trick Storm to Grandmaster. Storm's abilities, playstyle, and her potential and team compositions really resonate with me. In fact, she reminds me a lot of Lucio from Overwatch, but instead of AoE healing, she provides AoE damage to her team around her. Let's break it down how I got to GM one-tricking Storm. Storm fits into a very unique support role. You can dish out okay damage and you can buff your team's damage while also dealing damage yourself. In my opinion, you play her for her ultimate, Omega Hurricane, and you want to focus on building that ultimate throughout the game. You'll be using Bolt Rush and Windblade to build charge for Omega Hurricane, which is, again, one of the best. Storm's Tornado form boosts her speed, and when you amplify it, it also slows the enemy down. This lets you chase kills more effectively and keep those enemies on the run. If you're playing Storm, you're all about supporting your team, building up the Omega Hurricane, and using that ultimate to control the flow of the game. Now let's talk about Storm's strengths and weaknesses. Her strength comes from her ability to boost the entire team's damage. If you play well, you can snowball your team to victory, allowing your team and yourself to get more and more kills, and this enables your team. But Storm does have some weaknesses. Her mobility is a bit lacking. You don't have the same dash or escape mechanisms as some other characters. Windblade is a bit underwhelming, and while Bolt Rush is good for hitting multiple targets at once, it doesn't compare to some of the burst damage of other abilities in the game. One of Storm's best traits is how well she plays with pretty much every other character because, again, you play her for the ultimate, but you also enable your team. She's the perfect team player because of her damage boost and speed synergy. Her kit enables her to mesh with any composition that needs a little extra help dealing damage or closing the gap with enemies. There are matchups you'll want to be careful about when playing Storm, especially in the different roles. Let's start off with the Vanguards, which is the equivalent of tanks in Overwatch. Heroes like Doctor Strange, Magneto, Captain America, and Hulk can be tough for Storm because of their shields, which makes it, hard to land hits on them, and that's how you build up ultimate charge. Heroes like Venom, Thor, Penny Parker, and Groot, they're not as difficult to deal with because of Storm's range. Against the duelists, which are the DPS characters, it's very difficult in the 1v1 fight. Characters like Hawkeye, Spider Man, Hela, Iron Fist, Iron Man, and Star Lord can be tricky. These characters have better range, they have better mobility, and better self sustain. They can outlast you or outmaneuver in the 1v1. There's some other characters that can be tough, but with the right timing, and if you land your abilities, you can manage them. Characters like Namor, Moon Knight, Psylocke, Magic, Punisher, and Scarlet Witch all come to mind. While they can be tough, Storm can still hold her own if you play smart and hit your cooldowns, and I'd recommend playing with your supports or the strategists. Now, in my opinion, the strategists are the most OP role because of their ability to heal multiple heroes at the same time, and they have some of the best ultimates in the game that can counter many of the other ultimates in the game. Remember, as a duelist, you should focus on targeting the supports to limit their impact on the game. Let's start off with the first strategist, Luna Snow. The main issue you're going to have with her, if you're one tricking Storm, is going to be Luna Snow's ultimate. Her ultimate lasts longer than Hurricane, and so to be honest, I'm just going to use Hurricane at times to get Luna to use her ultimate earlier than expected, and hopefully my team can follow up after her ultimate ends. Remember, you play Storm for the ultimate. Now, Mantis is the second strategist that you're going to have difficult dealing with as well because her ultimate is pretty much similar to Luna's, except it doesn't last that long. I've approached her the same way as I do to Luna's ultimate, but if you do time your ultimate right, you can outlast her ultimate if you wait to use your ultimate after Mantis's ultimate. Third is Cloak and Dagger. These heroes can counter your ultimate in one of two ways. First is their ultimate can heal the team and damage the enemy team at the same time. If you end up ulting at the same time, your ult's practically useless because you'll be taking damage and the enemy team will be healing. Also, when Cloak switches to his ability to wraith the team out of danger, it basically nullifies your ult. So if you're going to try to target Cloak and Dagger, make sure to target them as Dagger so they do not have time to phase out of your ult. The rest of the supports or strategists, such as Adam Warlock, Rocket Raccoon, Loki, and Jeff, they're not really an issue to deal with. Definitely, these are the supports you want to get rid of. That being said, if the enemy strategists go Luna Mantis, your ult at that point is just cosmetic. So, how do you play Storm? So now that we've talked about why to pick Storm and her counters, here's how you should play her. The key to playing Storm is to focus on the AoE utility, being aware of your position to maximize your speed boost and damage buff. You'll want to poke with Windblade and use Bolt Rush to hit multiple targets or finish your targets and build your ultimate as quickly as possible. You'll want to go Thunder mode and boost multiple targets at once so that lightning automatically hits them when amplified. When dealing with the flankers and the mobile characters, if they initiate the duel, the 1v1, go to Thunder mode, Goddess boost, so that lightning targets them and lands your shots. You can use Bolt Rush if they try to escape, and that can help you in the 1v1. I'd also recommend playing around the supports. First, many supports don't look at the sky too often, and they don't see what's going on. And second, by playing near your supports, they can heal and help you in the duels that you take or the duels, the 1v1s that the enemy it takes on you. The Omega Hurricane is a game changer, so you want to set it up for the most impactful moment. And remember, her speed boost slows enemies down too, so you can chase down low health enemies or escape tough situations with your team. Sometimes I see, like with Psylocke, when she uses her ultimate, I see that radius and I speed on out. Playing Storm is all about setting up the big plays, supporting your team, and positioning yourself so that your abilities hit as many enemies as possible. I think Storm's an underrated character in Marvel Rivals. She's going to get a buff in Season 1, which I think will make her an A tier character. Her potential to support her team and deal damage is immense, and I've really enjoyed one-tricking her to GM. If you're someone who likes high-impact support characters who can dish out damage and control the pace of a fight, then Storm might just be the one for you, and I'm going to try to get her to Celestial rank in Season 1 of Marvel Rivals. Remember, it doesn't matter if the community thinks a hero is bad, it's more so how you play versus what you play that determines the outcome of the game.